record. And with that, don't want to waste too much more of your time. Let me just give a quick introduction here. Sorry, I'm trying to manage people coming in too. So today we're lucky to have Ryan Marshige speaking about an update on the new Campbell feed facility. Talking about fish meal and feed production plant. With that, I'm going to share my screen and I will be advancing the slides for Ryan. So Ryan, just let me know when you're ready to, when you want me to change slides. And I will start now. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and please mute yourself for now, and we'll have time for questions towards the end. Okay, take it away, Ryan.
Okay, good afternoon, and thank you for joining this Zoom meeting. Just like to give you an update of where we're currently at our feed plant that's located in Campbell Industrial Park. Next slide. But you well know we're located in Campbell Industrial Park. We're at the southernmost point of Campbell Industrial. Here's an aerial view of our facility. We're actually right next to the feedlots, which is on the east side of our property. And on the Mackay side, ocean side, is Island Commodities. We have one structure that's erected that we're currently going to be using. We have another pad, another concrete pad that was utilized. And this is the facility that used to be Hukilau Foods and Grove Farm Fish and Poi before Diamond Head Seafood acquired the property. Go ahead, Guy. This is another aerial view, close up. The building is 18,000 square foot under the roof. This facility's been here since 2007. This is one of their show places for sprung structure because it's the structure is still doing very well with the harsh environment down in Campbell. And that's another pad that we're going to be putting up another structures in the near future. Okay, Kai. Okay, now we're going to just talk briefly of what we're planning on doing. Diamond Head Seafood, which is our the company that's doing the fish meal plant. Our monthly waste is about 150,000 pounds per month with Diamond Head Seafood. And if we're able to make fish meal out of the fish waste, we have about a 20% conversion from waste to meal. So just on Diamond Head Seafood waste alone, we should get about 24,000 pounds of fish meal per month. And again, talking about availability of local ingredients and for making feed, we have Island Commodities also that's in the back of us. They produce a meal from their rendering plant that produces about 5,000 to 8,000 pounds per day. Now we're going to basically go at the 6,500 pounds average per day. And we've communicated with Island Commodities, and at Diamond Head Seafood, we're able to get about 85% of their meal, which is about 5,500 pounds of meal per day. Okay. This is our basic pellet that we're going to be making.
Ryan working for Diamond Head Seafood.
Good afternoon, Vernon. Feed formulation, the pellets that we made in the past is about 47% crude protein. It's very simple. We use the fish meal or the meal from Island Commodities, mix it with cassava flour, vitamin mineral premix. So actually the amount of fish meal required for a 300-pound pellet, 300-pound pellets per hour is about, I'm missing a slide after, is about 255 pounds of fish meal. So just basic on our operation of a meal plant will require about 40,000 pounds of fish meal or meal per month. Okay, cut. In the estimated feed production, if we use the meal from Island Commodities, we should be able to produce about 6,800 pounds of pellet per day. Now, with Diamond Head Seafood pellet line, our output is about, right now, we're going with a smaller machine right now. And we're able to produce about 300 pounds per hour. So within an 8-hour period, we can produce about 2,400 pounds of feed per day. Also, with the current input from Island Commodities, you know, even operating at 300 pounds per hour, we'll be able to operate a 2,000-pound unit per hour and in a 4-hour day. Okay, Kai. This is the plant that we currently have that will be coming in. We should be seeing it sometime in December. One of the reasons why we went with this plant is because at our current facility, we're doing infrastructure. So we do not have the power requirements to run a 1,000-pound per hour pellet plant. So this is the fish pellet plant. Runs about 300 pounds per hour. Very simple, easy to operate, you know, grinder. We have twin screw conveyor, twin screw extruder. We have gas fired dryer, but we're using an electric dryer with this production line, and then semi-automatic packing system at the end. Okay, Kai. The reason why we chose this unit is I've used this in the Marshall Islands for the last 7 years. And we're able to utilize local products in the Marshall Islands, which is a locally produced fish meal. The only thing we really have to import is the binder or starch component. This one we're using cassava flour, and we also import the vitamin mineral premix. So in the Marshall Islands, we had to train the local Marshallese, which was a challenge, but was able to do it. Okay, next slide. Here it is again, the dryer. One of the technicians checking the feed that's coming out of the dryer. And on the bottom picture is the dryer with it's a roller where you can spray any type of additive, oils that you want, any kind of flavor enhancers. And then at the tail end, we have a cooling conveyor, and then it goes right into the bagging. Okay, Kai. These are the pellets that we made from the extruder. It was shipped to the Marshall Islands, and we've tested our feed. This is the bone meal that we got from Island Commodities. We shipped a couple bags from Honolulu to the Marshall Islands, ran it through the machine, and we were able to produce a good pellet. We analyzed the pellet. We got 47% protein from the bone meal. And we also test fed it until we ran out of feed to the locally produced Pacific Threadfin Moi at our cages, and they've really aggressively ate it. They actually like this feed better than our current production feed. So after we ran out of this feed, we had to wean them back to our pellets. And actually, just from preliminary research, we've tested the imports of feeds in Hawaii. just for Kampachi. Now, this is just, we haven't gone through everyone, but just the people that we know and the people that we deal with. You know, Kampachi brings in 4 million pounds a year. Shrimp industry brings in at least 2 million pounds a year. And tilapia is at least 1 million pounds a year. Okay, as recall now, don't use these numbers. It's just street value. It's the people that we talk to. We haven't surveyed everyone. Okay. This is the other production line. This is the 1,000 kilogram or 2,000 pounds per hour pellet line that we're planning on bringing in to produce more feed. The feed pellet plant that we brought in is something that we wanted to try and make sure that we're able to get the necessary ingredients to produce a locally made product from local waste. And the whole thing with the project is to use the fish waste to produce a locally viable feed for fish or any type of animals. Okay. And again, all goes back to the local waste. This is some waste, picture of waste from Diamond Head Seafoods, which averages about 150 pounds per month. We're able to run it through this type of plant, capacity of 6 to 10,000 tons per day. This is a fish meal plant. This is something that we're planning on ordering in the future if it's necessary, and we able to produce more fish meal or meal necessary for the production needs in the state. Okay. Okay, this is just scope of work, you know, things that we're working on. We're working on our utilities for infrastructure, you know, the paved roads, parking, you know, production line where we're going to set it up, getting other things like commercial scale, getting set up with office and restrooms, getting our security system in, and you know, and any type of management system that can collect the data and analyze the data and do cost effective on the feeds produced. Okay. Okay, that's it.
Right on. Thank you very much, Ryan. That was great. Trying to find my chat now. I know there were a few things in the chat. I guess first of all, does anyone have any, maybe use the raise hand function so we can see you? Please, if you guys have any questions. Real quick.
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Sorry, who's this?
This is Kevin Krameyer. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, so I have a couple questions. One that's sort of just opportunistic, meaning like that structure looks beautiful. Can they do it on the Big Island? That's one. But then the second one that relates to the food that you're making, it's really important that you're doing this, and I'm really excited that you are, because I've been seeing quite a bit of try to slow down a little bit. I've been seeing quite a bit of talk about using soybean oil and those types of foods for the fish, and it may be not well known currently. There's a huge body of work showing that those oils, and especially when you feed them to livestock, are one of the primary causes of all the degenerative diseases going on right now. And it's really great that you're using the animal products. And if you wind up being strapped for, hey, I can't get the fish meal, I can't get the beef or whatever types of renderings you're getting, please don't turn to those cheaper oils, those soybean oils, you know, canola oil, cottonseed. It's so valuable that you're doing that. So I just wanted to point that out, why it's great what you're doing, and please avoid those other ones because they're deadly. They really are to the whole world who's eating them. But then to the first one is just the building. Who's doing it? Can the Big Island get one or no?
Pardon me?
The building that you're erecting, the second one, you said the first one stood up great in the harsh environment, and then you're getting another one. Is it somebody who can do that in the Big Island also, or can it only be done on Oahu?
No, you can contact Sprung Structures.
Sprung structures.
Yeah, Sprung Structures.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
So real quick, let me just jump in. There's a few questions in the chat about the presentation. So we're gonna have the this presentation, the recording of it, up on our website. And then I see a question from John Dobovon. Do you have any data on heavy metals, mercury, etc. in the fish waste? My customers are concerned about these contaminants. Ryan?
No, not at this time. But that's something that's something that's been addressed to us and a concern. And that's something that we can look at in the future, yes.
Thanks, Ryan. Looks like Ami. Go ahead. Oh, you need to unmute.
Thanks, Kai. Sorry about that. Great presentation, Ryan. And I'm very interested in the development of your facility. I've been trying to follow it for some time. Our company is trying to develop a soy-based, waste soy product feed, not alone, standalone. Of course, we need some kind of protein supplement. So I was very excited to learn about your program and using waste fish meal as a way to try and provide that. I'm interested in a few things. Your cassava flour, are you importing that or do you have a local source for that?
That we'll be importing.
And on the cassava flour, so I'm guessing your importation cost plus the weight of the cassava flour plays a role into all of that. Have you guys looked into alternatives locally for the cassava flour, or is that something that you guys tested various different ones? And
actually, because of the volume that we might need, we haven't really looked into that of getting something locally. We have tried making our feed ingredients from local ingredients in the Marshall Islands. But once you have to buy the fresh product, then you have to grind it down, then you have to dry it and then regrind it. By the time you get the finished product, which has to be kind of like a flour type consistency to be a feed additive, the cost is too high. So that's something that we're still looking. Obviously, if there's something here locally that we can add, it's fantastic. We've heard of a couple other local products, like macadamia nut. They grind that down and might be added to, but that's where we're hoping to get the industry and community involved, where if they have an idea or of a source of something that we can add instead of importing cassava flour, or because we're not going to use wheat. We could use wheat and corn, but it's just too expensive. And we're trying not to, the feed that we're producing, we're not trying to add fillers to it. We just want to use the protein source primarily. So in the event that, other animals do not require the high protein diet, the question is there a reason why? Is it more economically that the animals don't need that high protein? That's the reason why the protein levels are lower. So that, it's just something that I think the feed industry never, well, I wouldn't say never, but might not address, because we're able to produce a high protein diet at, hopefully at a reasonable price that everybody can use. Now, once we start adding soybean or other thing to reduce the protein level, then that obviously is going to increase the cost, because all of that's going to have to get imported.
Right. I don't know if you'll be able to see this at this size. No, it's not catching it. We've been able to produce relatively at a low cost and at a very low power usage, granular sizes. This one's more of a dust, and they're both the products of one grinding process that we've been able to test. I'd have to show you in person or up close. The camera's not.
What is that?
This is a soy waste product that we've been able to dry, ferment, and then grind down. We're still working on the process for the different results that we're getting, and we're trying to send it off to either Kentucky State or Louisiana State University for testing, because there are some preliminary studies out there that show, you know, your crude protein, your crude lipid structures, polyphenols, carotenoid count. We're interested in all of that. We're also looking at phosphates, any vitamins. Amino acids actually happen to be pretty high in the fermented state. So we're working on a process to do that. We're a small startup, so Dylan Howell's familiar with us, but yeah, I was just interested.
Thanks, Sami, for your question, and I think maybe you can follow up with Ryan folks after that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yes.
We have a couple more questions. Eric?
Yeah, hey Ryan, how's it? So Eric, Franklin University of Hawaii, really appreciate you sharing this. I'm just curious, you kind of shared, it seems like a stage development for your facility. What is the timeline that you've got for, you know, you talked about the 300 pound per day and maybe a 2,000 and up to a 6 to 10 ton. How do you see the timeline for this kind of, you know, the build out?
Actually, the machine should be here in December. Hopefully we get it operating in January. One of the reasons why we wanted the smaller machine is to actually test the feasibility, make the feed, you know, get the samples out. Also at the facility, we have access to salt water. So we'd like to do some, also some feed trials where other users might not be able to do it. So we're able to bring some animals in and do some, you know, preliminary feed trials also.
Okay, awesome.
And
Thank
we
you.
also like to work with, you know, university and stuff like that. So.
And so that's to bring in the 300 pound a day machine. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then that next stage, I think it was the 2,000 pound a day. Is that planned?
It's 300 pounds an hour.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, per hour. So the next stage, the bigger kind of setup, is that also going to come in, or first you do the feasibility and assess, you know, economics and just can you get it done here?
Well, it's something that we're looking into right now. We're hopefully maybe we can bring it in, but we're looking at also the availability of feed ingredients. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, you can bring in a 2,000 pound per hour unit, but where are you gonna get all the ingredients from?
Mm-hmm.
You know, just on Island Commodities, the rendering plant, they only can they'll produce 100,000 pounds of meal a month. And you know, once you get a huge plant like that, you really need a dedicated source of ingredients and the end user. Yeah.
And for the inputs, I think you mentioned that about 20% of the waste gets used for feed. Is there a application or use for the other 80%, or that just is literally waste?
No, it's actually 20% of the total weight of the fish waste.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after you cook it, grind it, dry it, you actually get, so if you start off with 100 pounds of fish waste,
Oh, I got it.
you
It's
should get about
concentrated
20
down.
pounds of 20 pounds of fish meal.
Understood. Okay, thanks so much. Appreciate it. I would love to you know, one last thing. I'm director of a new activity called the Climate Resilient Food Innovation Network at UH. We're looking for partners in the what we're calling the blue food space. So I might reach out, just talk story with you directly about your facility later. But thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. And I think Jenica also has a question. Go ahead.
Hey, thanks you guys. Jenica from Ocean Era over in Kona. Well, Eric took my first question about what is the waste of your product. But another question was just about the moy work that you did. Like, how well did the pellets hold up in water? Like, how's digestibility? How is that compared to some of the other commercial feeds that you've used in the past?
Well, actually, Jenica, we only started off with 100 pounds of meal that we brought in from Honolulu. So our primary objective was to test the palatability of the pellet. And we, you know, the fish really fed aggressively on it, whether digestibility and all that other feed trials. We didn't have actually the time to do it and enough feed to do it with.
Yeah, it sounds like if they ate it that quickly, you weren't going to have too much, at least too much waste from the feed. Cool. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I have another question
wait,
if there's time for it.
So, sorry, hang on. There's one question in the chat here from Cecilia. I'm not going to be able to pronounce this word. Will ethoxyquin, which is an antioxidant, be used in the feed? FDA regulates the levels of that.
Well, actually, we try not to add too many additives because we are local, and it's, you know, we're not going to produce feed to store it in a warehouse for 6 months. Hopefully we'll be able to, the end user won't have to order a 40-foot container or something and let it sit for 6 months before they finally use up the whole container. So even like, you know, mold is an issue. We looked into that. We're looking into that, any preservatives, but we try to minimize any other additional additives to put into the feed. So, you know, like, again, we're just starting. We're going to start producing pellets, you know, samples out, any input from the industry of what they would like or what we can try. You know, because of this production unit is small, it's not a 2,000 pound per hour unit. So we're able to get different types of ingredients, any type of additives we can add and make small batches.
Thanks, Ryan. And I'm sorry, your name was Kevin Laptop?
Kevin, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So the you mentioned you're looking for a sort of a carbohydrate, you know, binder, filler. The Kiave flour might be really good. The Kiave pods fall in. There's a fella here on the Big Island who's making a big process of making Kiave flour, making Kiave products that could be very good. I would think it would complement it quite well. I could put you guys in touch. I don't know if you want everything from Oahu and if they have big Kiave forest there or only here, but I don't know what your email address is, but I could put you guys in touch with each other.
Yeah, you know, like I said, we're really open. We're here to work with the industry. And this is Kiave flour.
Yeah, oh, you gotta try it. It's fantastic.
Wait, this
you
is
know the
from the
beans?
Kiave tree?
Yeah, the beans that fall off. They
Ah,
all the animals eat them. The goats eat them. The dogs eat them. Everybody's eating them all. They brought them in to feed the cattle for the protein.
Okay.
And when it falls in the fish ponds, the fish go nuts over them too after they get dissolved. You know, after they soften up. So I think it would work out great, and they're super sticky. So it makes a nice sticky thing, and it dries out too. You know, so I think it could work really great.
yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
What's your?
Thank you.
How
Looking
do I
forward
reach
for the
you?
information.
Well,
How do I reach you?
yeah, we'll share Ryan's contact after
Great, thank
this.
you.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. We have another question from Tyler. Go ahead.
Hey Ryan, how's it going? Thanks for the presentation. It's Tyler from Blue Ocean Mariculture over on the Big Island.
Okay.
Yeah, so just wanted to find out. I know your production capacity is going to be small to start with, but are you looking at what size pellets will you be able to produce? And are you targeting finfish? Or are you targeting the shrimp market? And one way or another, we'd like to collaborate with either giving you some fish to do at your feed trials or with Oceanera in conjunction with them for Kampachi. If you've got something that would work for like a 3 millimeter pellet, I think those volumes would work for us, and knock down some of that carbon footprint of shipping feed in. And or as well, obviously, as we expand, we're going to have a lot of product byproduct from our processing plant. If fish oil or fish meal is a limiting factor in what you need to produce pellets for other species like shrimp.
Yeah, understand. Yeah, Tyler. The dyes we're getting ranges anywhere from 1.5 millimeter all the way up until 10 to 12 millimeter. I don't think it's going to go that big, but maybe up to 8 millimeter.
Good.
Great, thanks
Yeah,
for the
that's
question.
fantastic. We're mostly 3 to 10, so you know that all falls within our range. So yeah, looking forward to getting your contact and seeing if there's some collaboration we can do.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thanks, Tyler. We have a question from Satoshi. Do you have any plan to produce other shapes as a finished product, like bigger diameter or leafy flat?
We have a different dies. Our dies, like I said, go from 1.5 millimeter all the way up to 8 to 10 millimeter. We have some couple dies that make star shapes. I think one of the dies make some like a fish shape. You know, we brought in some extra dies. Because yeah, we're looking at, you know, another thing is, you know, maybe even feed your cat, you know.
Right. Thanks, Ryan. I think maybe we'll do a couple more questions. We're coming up on, I mean, we're actually past time here, so I want to respect people's times. It's obviously very well attended. A lot of people are super interested in this. One suggestion or one question from Eric again was about using ulu, potentially ulu flour as a additive.
Yes, Eric, ulu is a very good additive for making feed. We did this in the Marshall Islands. Like again, we purchased the breadfruit, we dried it, then we had to grind it down and we used it. But then again, it's the cost of the ingredient, yeah. You know, to get it processed down to flour form to be used as a feed ingredient. That's the only thing.
Thanks, Ryan. And another one from Cecilia. Have you done water stability tests for an abalone feed? One needs about 48 hours water stability.
No, we can try that when we get it. Our water stability, we try to usually go about at least a minute to 2 minutes. You know, as we feed the fish, obviously you don't want it to dissolve, so you want it to stay solid until it consumes it. But no, we haven't done stability tests 48 hours. So
Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, maybe we can open it up for one more final question. Anybody have any questions for Ryan? Well, really appreciate your time, Ryan. It was a great presentation, and
no problem. We have our whole team here, so I'm covered.
right on. So yeah, if you don't mind, we'll share your contact information, and I would imagine you'll probably be getting some emails pretty soon.
Okay.
But
Hey, thanks, Jekai.
yeah, no worries. No, thank you, and thanks to everybody. And like we said, we'll have this up on the Sea Grant website soon. Okay, aloha, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.